Okay, your next topic is simulation. Okay, simulation means what? Simulation is a mathematical technique. Simulation is a mathematical technique. This technique is used to determine the expected possible outcome when various outcomes are possible. Means out of various outcomes, what is the expected value of a particular outcome? If the value of that expected outcome organization want to determine, then in that case they can use the simulation mathematical technique. So it is a technique of determining the expected value from different possible outcomes. For example, if there is a match between India and Pakistan, so different means results can be possible. Match can be win by India, match can be win by Pakistan, match can be means tied, match can be converted into super over, match can be abandoned due to rain. So many outcomes are possible. So from this, what outcome they want to ascertain or determine through simulation technique. So any one outcome they can find out. Clear? So from various outcomes, if they want to find out a particular expected value of a outcome, that particular situation, they can use simulation technique. So simulation technique is a experimentation type technique. So in this, they can do so many experimentations in management laboratory. Management laboratory means management will provide the sufficient resources to researchers and sufficient resources to the organization. So by using the resources, they can derive what can be the possible outcome possible from various outcomes. Clear? So it is a experimentation in the management laboratory. So it is nothing but in marginal costing technique, you use one concept called as CVP analysis. In marginal costing technique, you use one concept called as CVP analysis. So CVP analysis is what? Before taking the actual decision about product, management will do all possible experimentation. If there is a change in selling price, what will be the effect? If there is a decrease in variable cost, what will be the effect? If there is an increase in selling price, if there is an increase in volume, if there is a decrease in volume. So ultimately in CVP analysis, what management will do? Ki due to a particular reason, what will be the expected result? What will be the expected result? So same concept is used under simulation through mathematics. Through mathematics. Okay? So this is simulation. Understand? If you see first point here, simulation is a mathematical technique which is used to predict the expected outcome when several outcomes are possible. Okay? So simulation is also called experimentation in the management laboratory. It means in CVP analysis, management will do all possible calculation by considering so many different possibilities, like if there is a change in selling price, change in volume, change in variable cost, change in fixed cost, what will be the expected result? The same can be applied in simulation technique also. It means from various outcomes, what is the possibility of a particular outcome? That they can check by doing the experimentation. So all possible experimentations they can use in the model. Okay? So before using the simulation technique, first what is required? Before using the simulation technique, first one model is developed. First one model is developed. Reason is directly we cannot do the changes or experimentation with actual scenario or actual things. Before doing the actual things, first a ready-made model is prepared. That model is a mathematical model. So in that model they will do the experimentation and they will check what will be the impact if this particular event happens. if this particular event is happening, what will be the impact. So that they will check in the model, because directly in some situation without using a model, we cannot check the possible outcomes in real environment. So in real environment, we cannot check the possible outcome. Example, suppose government is planning to make one railway track, or government is planning to make one highway. Okay? So government want to check what is the possibility of accident. What is the possibility of accident? So they cannot do the experimentation with people. Suppose some people are sitting in the car and they are doing the experimentation. That is possible. So in real environment, it is practically impossible. So in model only, they can check that. In model only, they can predict that. So simulation technique sometime used in those areas where in real life it is infeasible for the person to check the things. So through a model they will analyze, and through a model they will do this experimentation. Okay? So simulation technique requires prototype model. Simulation technique required prototype model. Example, one real estate company, construction company is interested to construct a gated community project. In that, they are planning to construct 400 flats. So they are constructing this project nearby a river. Nearby a river means 1-2 kilometer distance from the river. So they have to check all possible certainties ki if there is a heavy rainfall, whether it can affect the colony or not, or gated community or not. So this is also not possible to check in real-time environment. So one model is required. So through one model only they can understand ki what can be the impact. So in those cases also simulation can be the best. Similarly, nuclear plant. Nuclear plant. Suppose nowadays every country want to become the superpower. So ultimately, to become the superpower, nuclear very important. So in nuclear, there is a possibility of radiation. There is a possibility of radiation. So in real type environment, it is practically impossible to make the experimentation. The experimentation is not possible in real time environment. Like car accident example, okay? Like one colony is likely to be constructed. So what is the possibility of, means if there is a heavy rainfall, how much people can be affected from that? It is not practically possible for them to do the experimentation. So in model only they can make the experimentation, and through model only they can understand the things. So in that case, simulation is used. Understand? So check this. So under this technique, a model is developed, also known as mathematical program, and then used it to estimate the possible outcomes. So simulation is defined as process of problem solving based upon experimentation performed on a model of real world situation. So they will develop one model. In that model, they will do the experimentation and they will try to understand what can be the impact. Because in some cases, it will be impractical, infeasible for the organization to make the experimentation in real environment. So they need one model. So in that case, simulation is the best mathematical technique through which we can check the experimentation and we can perform a trial. We can perform a trial. Understand? So this is simulation. Understand? Yes, all students understand what is simulation now? Now major reasons for applying simulation. So in simulation actually there are two types of models. One is deterministic model, one other is probabilistic model. In probabilistic model, probabilities will be used. because simulation technique is used when there is a uncertainty. When there is a uncertainty also. Means we cannot know exactly about the future. Simulation technique is a prediction. It is a technique of deriving the expected possible outcome. So it is future oriented. It is what? Future oriented. So presently organization is doing the experimentation to predict about future. So future is always uncertain. Future is always uncertain. So whenever there is an uncertainty, mostly probabilistic model is used. Which model is used? Probabilistic model is used. Now there is a question. Always probabilistic model is used. Yes. In maximum number of cases, probabilistic model is used because whenever there is an uncertainty, we can use the probabilities. What is the expectation of that event out of so many events? Okay. Suppose you are throwing a coin or tossing a coin. So while tossing a coin, there is a unbiased coin. There is a possibility that head can be also possible, tail can be also possible. So what result exactly will come, that is uncertain. But we can use the probability, na? Probability of head also 50%, tail also 50%. So here also same. Whenever there is uncertainty, in uncertainty situation also there is a possibility ki what can be possible. So that will be used through probabilities. That can be used through probabilities. Deterministic model, probabilistic model means maximum cases simulation is used for short-term decision makings. Short-term decision makings. Like 10 days, 20 days, 100 days, 90 days like this. Maximum. Okay, but in this one more model is also there. That model is used for some long-term decisions also. So in that case, deterministic model is used. What is used? Deterministic model is used. Like capital budgeting technique. Capital budgeting technique is a short-term decision making, a long-term decision making, a long-term. So in simulation also there are two different models. One is Monte Carlo model, another is Hertz model. So Hertz model using the long-term. In that he is specifically targeting the capital budgeting. And in Monte Carlo model he is targeting the short-term. Okay. But out of these two models, which model is more practically used is Monte Carlo model, because people will be very much interested in short term in simulation. That's why Monte Carlo model is majorly applied in practical situation. So an examiner will also test Monte Carlo model more in exam situation. Okay. So deterministic model, probabilistic model. In probabilistic model, purely probabilities are used. The reason for using probabilities what? There is a uncertainty, and simulation is used for uncertain situations because it is a future oriented thing. What can happen exactly we don't know. So through simulation technique we are calculating the expected things. So when we are calculating or predicting the expected things about future, future is uncertain. So in an uncertain situation, definitely the mathematicians will use probabilities. So in Monte Carlo simulation model also, the mathematician has used probabilities. This is the reason he used probabilities. Understand? So major reasons for applying simulation we are discussing now. So major reasons for applying simulation is, nowadays there is a doubt in each and every area. There is a question in each and every area. Key, if this particular event happens or do not happens, what can be the result or impact? Okay, or sometimes there is a doubt in people's mind. What if situation? What if question situation? What if question situation means it is a deterministic area. It is a deterministic area. Means simulation technique is used in what if question situations. What if question situation? What if question situation means what will be the expected demand? What will be the expected profit? what will be the expected supply, what will be the different scenarios. So what if situations whenever exist, simulation model will be helping. So people will use simulation technique more in what if situation. What if means we don't know exactly about future. We don't know exactly about future. So in that case, what if question will arise. So in those circumstances, simulation can be used. So simulation's greatest strength is what? Ability to answer what if questions. Understand? Next is simulation technique is very easy to use. Very easy to use. Nowadays, simulation technique manually nobody will use. Computerized version of simulation will be used. What is used? Computerized version of simulation. So even if organization is using computerized version of simulation, it is not very much difficult. It is easily manageable, understandable, and cost is also not very high as compared to a real environment. Suppose if you want to check the impact through real environment, definitely you have to spend huge amount of money. So without a real environment, if you want to check the different outcomes, then you should develop a model. Through computer software, you can do the experimentation. So installation of computer software or computer programming required heavy cost? No. As compared to real environment, no heavy cost is required. Because in real environment, cost will be very high. Through computerized, if you are experimenting, cost will be less. Understand? So before developing the actual model, if you check all the experimentations, all possible outcomes in model, then wherever there is a necessity to change, we can make the changes. Directly after developing the real model, if you want to make changes, it will be very costly. It will be very costly. Like you develop one colony. In that colony, one road is not properly constructed or one road is not in the proper way. So again that you have to change. So it will be very costly. So directly in simulation you can check. Directly in simulation you can check it is correctly constructed or not. Then if this is not correctly constructed, where it has to be shifted, all this experimentation you can check in the model. So in model, researcher will check what can be the possibilities. So directly if you apply these changes in real environment, it will be very high cost to the management. That's why first they will develop a program. In that program, a computerized software is used. Through that software, they will check the experimentation. So in simulation compulsory, development of model is necessary. Development of model is necessary. Directly in real environment, nobody will make the changes. In model, they will check all experimentations. And whatever is more suitable, that is favorable, that will be adopted. And which areas risk, which areas complications are there, they will understand. And they will try to simplify in the real environment. They will try to simplify in the real environment. Like already I given the example of construction of a project. Suppose L&T metro project is constructed. So before doing the actual work, they will develop a model. In that model, they will check from which route to which route this metro project should be started, and in which area, how much depth drilling is required, in which area clear stops should be made. All this is first decided or not, or directly after constructing they will decide. If they decide after construction, it will be very costly. Again they have to remove. The cost of removal, shifting, all this will be very difficult. So before doing all this in real, they will experiment through a model. So simulation is the best mathematical technique to do this experimentation. Okay. Next is, already I explained, in some cases in real world directly we cannot make the experimentation because there is a very high risk situation. So in those cases, simulation only the answer. So simulation softwares are easy to use. Cost of simulation is much less than real life experiment. Sometimes real life experimentation is not possible. Already this is explained. This is not feasible. Like car example I given. What is the possibility of car accident? Okay. So in real type environment, this experimentation is not possible, infeasible. Similarly, sometimes experimentation is unsafe also. Like nuclear plant. In nuclear plant, what is the possibility of radiation? In real environment, it cannot be possible, na, unsafe. So in model only we can check. In model only we can check. So this is the reasons ki people can use simulation technique. Understand? Now next is where simulation is applicable. What are the areas in which, or means what are the areas in which simulation is applicable? Okay. So simulation can be applied in various situations, various areas. Like it can be used in military operation, it can be used in hospitals, it can be used in laboratories, it can be used in manufacturing, it can be used in finance, it can be used in economics. Okay. So in so many places it can be used. So here I have given some limited example, few examples only. If simulation technique is used in different areas, where in those areas it can be useful. So first I given the example of manufacturing. Suppose a company want to use simulation technique under manufacturing. So in manufacturing, in what areas they can use this simulation? Like product design. What should be the product design? Suppose one company want to launch a car. What should be the design? If this is the design, what is the demand? If design is different, what is the demand? If this is the design, how much cost it will take? If this design is not used, what will be the cost? Like this, various permutation combinations are possible or not. So in those places, they can use this simulation. Okay. Next, how to utilize the resources also. Machines, labor. Okay. How to utilize this in optimum way. How to utilize this in optimized manner. Then through simulation, they can understand. And in the organization, what is the most challenging area? Because of that, organization is facing the difficulties. So that is also predicted from or estimated from simulation technique. So that is called as bottleneck. So that will be removed through simulation technique also. Okay. So here it is given for designing the product, scheduling the process of and stuff, utilization of resources, machines, labor, removing the bottleneck. Bottleneck means which constraint is most difficult constraint, which is most short supply item. So because of that, others will be affected. So that will be identified and they will try to remove. So simulation technique will help to remove this bottleneck. So you will understand this in costing, don't worry. What is bottleneck, okay? Now in finance also they can use. Nowadays you will use so many softwares, or you will see so many softwares in which share market transactions will be taken place. So in those areas also simulation technique is used. What is used? Simulation technique. So people will use simulation technique in stock markets also, like portfolio management, and whenever there is a risk, how to identify the risk. Clear? So in these areas also simulation can be used. Okay. So portfolio management, risk management, stock market operation, and foreign exchange risk management also they can use the simulation technique. Clear? Because stock market operation is purely what? Prediction. Purely what? Prediction. On the basis of prediction only people will invest. Now what I am predicting? I'm predicting about HDFC Bank share. So I'm predicting about HDFC Bank share. HDFC Bank share is now in the range of 1670 rupees or 1650 rupees. So according to the past performance of HDFC Bank and according to past track record of HDFC Bank, prediction will be made. Because always prediction is based on past result. Okay. So according to that and according to latest performance also, what can be the target price of HDFC Bank? Okay. So target price of HDFC Bank will be actually 1900 to 1950 rupees range. 1900 to 1950 rupees range. So from this 1650, there is a possibility that it can goes to 1950 level. Okay. So this is also possible by using simulation technique. So simulation technique will use past data because this is experimentation or prediction, estimation. So prediction, estimation for short duration. So prediction or estimation for short duration requires past data or not. According to past data only we can predict this, because probabilities will come from past outcomes. Probabilities will come from past outcomes. Okay. So that's why in simulation technique compulsory probabilities will be used and probabilities will be taken from past data. So past data is required here. Understand? So it can be used in stock market operation, it can be used in portfolio management. Like what is the best portfolio? What is the best portfolio? Portfolio means what? You will understand in SFM subject. Portfolio means it is a bundle of securities, group of securities. So in your bundle, which type of stocks you want to maintain? So very high risky stocks are, blue chip stocks are, moderate type stocks are, or defensive stocks are. Which type of stocks you want to maintain in your portfolio? Okay. It means combination. It is a combination. The combination of stocks is called as portfolio. If your portfolio is very strong, then even if market is falling, there is not very high impact on your portfolio. So this is very important. In those cases also, simulation can be used. Like according to past 3-4 year track record, which stock is more affected, which stock is less affected, we can predict from simulation. And that we can use in our portfolio construction. Understand? That's why people will use simulation technique. Simulation theory is not very easy to understand. Now you are understanding or not, that is important. Clear? Now you are understanding or not? That is important. So we need to understand each and every point here. Clear? Next, in economics also it can be used. Like what is the proposed policy? What is the physical policy of government? Because of physical policy, what can be the changes? What is the monetary policy of the government and what is the monetary policy of the organization? So it can be used in microeconomics also. Okay. So what is, means it will be used to analyze proposed policy. It will be used to analyze the monetary policy. It will be used to analyze the physical policy. So according to that, people will decide now. By the stock market is totally depends on 3-4 parameters. One is government, one is worldwide markets, and sometime local factors also, sometime international factors also. Suppose if there is a possibility of war, market will fall. If there is a possibility of any pandemic, market will fall. Fall or not? And market will sometime up or down also because of government rules also. Government rules also, like physical policy. Like government announce one scheme, ki from this year onwards, they will charge very high tax to hotels automatically hotel stocks will be affected or not? Hotel stocks will be affected, na? Compulsory affected. Suppose if government is charging very high tax on particular area, that area stocks will be affected. Understand? So physical policy is also important. RBI monetary policy is also important. So through simulation technique, people will understand ki what can be the expected policies of government, expected areas of government which can government may make the changes. Okay, it is only a estimation. There is no possibility it can match 100% with real. So it is only a estimation. Why estimation required? According to estimation only will prepare the resources. According to estimation only will prepare the resources. Like you are arranging one function, you will estimate or not? How many guests will come? According to that only you will arrange or not? If you don't know, arrangement is easier. So simulation also same. So for doing the arrangement, you know a particular number, na? Particular data, particular figure, then only you can arrange the things. Like in business decisions also it can be used, business management, like capital budgeting technique, pricing decisions, inventory management. Mostly simulation technique is used in short decisions, like 10 days, 25 days, 100 days, like this. But Hertz model is used for long-term areas, capital budgeting technique, return on investment technique, okay? Inventory management also all based on what? Prediction. Inventory management is based on what? Prediction. See, nowadays world's topmost companies also not manufacturing the products very highly and waiting for customers. Samsung company. Now Samsung company one latest model is released and officially it will be sold from 15 July onwards. Samsung company is also in the tension. If they manufacture very high quantity of the phones, if any new version release from other mobile companies, there is a possibility that their sale can be affected. So before starting the actual sale, they are doing the pre-booking offer. Any person who book the phone pre-launch, they are giving the adapter free and some discount also. So because of this, they will estimate how much is the expected demand. How much is the expected demand, and accordingly they will manufacture. Otherwise, if they manufacture without any estimation, if high quantity manufactured, there is a possibility of stock bufferage or not. Investment will be blocked or not. So nowadays all companies will be in deep trouble also. Okay, how much quantity should be produced? So in that case, inventory management will be used. And pricing also, at what price model should be used or released? Because there is a price war. There is a price war. So pricing is also very important. Pricing is also very important. Price war between the different products. So pricing is also important. So if they change price, what will be the effect on demand? Because of price, demand can affected also. So different prices, demand is different. So which price model should be released? So pricing strategies areas also simulation is used. Understand? See, final examination is a unpredictable. So in final examination also we can use simulation. Now students will be doing what? 90% students, 95% students purely interested in practical sums only. It is fact. Sir, already we are learning theory subjects. In practical also you are explaining theory, means it is very unexpected, sir. But in final examination, if theory question tested, so what you will write? So final examination is unpredictable now. Anything can be tested. So by keeping this point in mind only, we are discussing theory. According to past examination paper, simulation is tested mostly practical, but 2-3 times theory questions also tested. So there is a probability of 30% or 25%. If zero probability, I will not teach theory. But there is a probability of 25%, 30%. If theory can be tested. So that's why we are discussing. So this discussion is also done from simulation technique only. Because I check the past papers. According to that, what is the probability I calculated? 25%, 30%. Then I decided that okay, theory is also important. If I skip theory, there is a loss to students. So I am discussing theory also. So my decision is also based on what? Simulation. Understand? Now what are the steps in simulation technique? First step in simulation technique is identifying the problem. Which type of problem they have to identify? Means problem identification is nothing but problem is related to calculation of demand. Problem is related to calculation of profit or loss. Problem is related to waiting time, arrival time. Problem is related to what is the closing stock, what is the carrying cost. So problem is related to any other situation. So first, in which type of area you are using simulation, that is called as problem. That is called as what? Problem. In which areas you want to use simulation, and in that what you want to check, that is called as what? Problem. So this is called as what? Identification of problem. Second is develop the model. Already I told you, okay, simulation technique required what? One model. One model is developed here. In that model only, what are the possible outcomes we have to check, and from that what you want, you have to do the experimentation on that. Understand? So select the computer system and develop the program and test the model, and from testing the model, whatever results are coming, that will be collected. So this is called as data collection. Then perform the simulation runs. Simulation runs means what are the different areas in which you are using the simulation technique. So that will be performed through series of runs until otherwise final result is not came. This will repeat it. This will be repeated. What you want, if that is not coming, this process will continue. This is repetitive process. And finally results will be interpreted and presented. And ultimately what course of action is required in future, that will be decided. So these are the steps related to simulation. This is very important question. Examination, sometime practical sum is not tested. Directly they will ask what are the steps in simulation. So students will write practical steps. Students will write practical steps. Their first step is this probability calculation. Second step is cumulative probability. Third step is converting cumulative probability into range. Then with random numbers, estimation is based. That is steps in Monte Carlo simulation. That is steps in. So this question is different, that question is different. The examiner is asking only steps in simulation. This one. First, identification of problem. Thereafter, development of model. Thereafter, by using computer software, one program is used. Okay. Through that program, they will do the experimentation. Okay. And from that, various results are possible by using the simulation runs. And those results can be collected and gathered, and it will be presented and interpreted. In that, if any point is not covered, then what action is required? That will be recommended. That will be recommended. So you should write these steps. The steps in simulation means don't write Monte Carlo simulation steps. If examiner specifically mentioning, then you should write that. Okay, this is important question. This can be tested in 4 marks. Sometime in exam, one practical question, 4 mark question is very difficult. So you can write this. Practical question, if you solve wrong, you will get any marks? You write this, at least you will get 3 marks, 3.5 marks. By 100 mark paper out of 100, unpredictable. Even rank 1 student also will not expect 100 out of 100. That is highly uncertain situation. So in some cases, theory questions will be easy. Some practical questions are difficult. Difficult in the sense, if you want to solve, time consumption will be high. In those cases, it will help. Okay. Once again, we are repeating. Steps in simulation is what? Identification of problem, developing a model. Thereafter, one computerized system is used. Through that computerized system, one software program is developed, and from that program, they will do the trial runs, and by using the trial runs, doing the trial runs, some results will be coming. Okay, so those results will be gathered and collected, and this will be continuously till all results are not drawn from the model. So this is called as simulation runs. This is called as what? Simulation runs. After all results are drawn, then results will be interpreted and means it is presented. And finally, wherever any course of action is required. Course of action means what are the areas in which some improvement is required, some changes are required. So that will be recommended. That will be recommended. Understand? Example. Suppose one very famous hospital is there. Okay. In that hospital, doctor is giving the treatment to patients. He is an eye specialist. He is an eye specialist. So normally in a week, 4 days only, we will check the patients. Okay. Now, because of his good reputation and qualitable services, during these 4 days, very high number of patients are expected to come. But maximum he will attain how many patients? That depends on what? Time. That depends on what? Time factor. So, every patient waiting time should be how much? At what time you should give the appointment to patient? If in advance it is not calculated, then patients will come and they have to wait. And because of waiting also, patient will suffer. So, hospital want to estimate this. At what point of time we should give the appointment to patients. So, they are calculating this from past track record. In past 20 days appointments, how patients came and how he has given the treatments. Okay. And in next 10 days also, if they want to predict what should be the timings given to the patients, so that if they came, they should not wait for a maximum time. Within a short span of time, appointment should be possible. In that way, they want to develop. So they will use simulation or not. This is the reason ki simulation technique is most popular technique. Okay. Suppose previously they are giving 30 minutes time to the patients, but the new simulation model which they developed, in that average time coming 45 minutes or 40 minutes. Suppose 45 minutes coming. So you will change the appointment time or not? Which type of patient is coming, that depends na. Suppose according to the track record, 30 minutes time previously you given to the patients, but it was not very much successful due to the time spent by the doctor is high. So this time you will change or not? So that patient should be conveniently meet with doctor without waiting much. So you will develop a model and you will do the experimentation, you will take the results. So according to result, 40 minutes time average coming, waiting time. So you will give the appointment to every patient according to 40 minute slot or not? So changes required. So this is recommended. Previously your time was 30 minutes waiting time, but in the new model 40 minutes coming. So change this. That is final step. That is what? Final step. Recommendation. We are not interested to buttify the things. We have to understand each and every point. Even in statistics also, mathematics also. Okay? Because of real problems only these models develop now. Chaliye, next. Monte Carlo simulation. Next is what? Monte Carlo simulation. Chaliye, before starting this, first I will check online students' progress. How much they understand, whether they understand fully or they have any doubts. I hope they understand perfectly. So there is no doubts or queries from the online students, right? Now, Monte Carlo simulation. In simulation, two models are used. One is Monte Carlo simulation, another is Hertz model. Hertz model is used in capital budgeting technique. Okay? And also in calculating the return on investment based on income and investment concept. Based on income and investment. Mostly it is used in capital budgeting technique. Okay? So capital budgeting technique is a long-term decision making. So require more than 1 year data. Required more than 1 year data, or data will be generally vast also. This is the reason ki examiner is not very much interested to test simulation question from Hertz model, because Hertz model we will discuss in capital budgeting in SFM paper. We will not ask here. Only there is a possibility ki practical question will come from Monte Carlo model, because Monte Carlo model is specifically designed for short-term decisions. 10 days, 5 days, 6 experimentation, 10 experimentations. Like data will be for short, not very vast or voluminous data is covered here. Clear? And in modern environment, modern world, most challenging decisions are what? Day-to-day decisions. Most challenging decisions are what? Day-to-day decisions. So in day-to-day decisions, what are the challenges? If you want to overcome those challenges, you want to perform the operations in better way, then expectation estimation is required. Expectation or estimation is required. So they will use simulation, Monte Carlo simulation. Because Monte Carlo simulation will give the results for short durations, and estimations can be used in short trial runs. So if you want short duration data estimations, so the model which is used is Monte Carlo. This is not useful for long-term data. Short data. 10 days, 5 days, 6 days, 10 trials, 5 trials, 20 trials like this. It is not used for 1 year, 2 year data, 5 years data. No. In that case, this is not used. Clear? So, Monte Carlo simulation is specifically used for short durations, short-term decision making. Short-term decision making. Understand? Actually, what is Monte Carlo simulation now? Already I explained in which area it is used. Because you have to be very clear na, ki in which area you want to take the decision. Your decision is short term or long term. If your decision is long term, don't think about Monte Carlo. Your decision is short term only, think about Monte Carlo. Okay? Suppose you want to predict the data for next 10 days, you'll use this. You want to calculate the estimation for next 15-20 days, use this. You want to calculate the estimated things about next 2 years, 4 years, forget about this. This is not useful. Because simulation, Monte Carlo simulation specifically deals with short-term decision making. I hope this is clear. Now what is Monte Carlo simulation? We'll understand now. Monte Carlo simulation is a mathematical technique in which he used the random numbers. He used the random numbers for estimating the expected things in future. For estimating the expected things in future, in this model, he has used the random number technique and he used the probability approach. So whenever you discuss about Monte Carlo simulation, simply in your mind, there should be 2 points. First point is, in this model, probabilities are used. Second, random numbers are used. Why probabilities are used? I clearly explained. Ki whenever there is an uncertain situation, whenever there is an uncertainty, in that uncertain situation or uncertainty, means result can be favorable also, result can be unfavorable also. Out of 100% is unfavorable, or sometime some favorable, some unfavorable also. Clear? So probability will be required. What is required? Probability will be required. Probability means what is the possibility of expected outcome. What is the probability of expected outcome? Okay. So probabilities will be used here. Example. Because if I explain theoretically, it will be difficult to understand. So I will use one example here. Suppose a very popular confectionery or bakery is there. That confectionery or industry or bakery want to estimate next 10 days demand. Next 10 days demand. Okay. So that every day how many branded cakes they have to manufacture. How many branded cakes they have to manufacture. Suppose right now they are manufacturing 30 cakes daily. 30 cakes daily. Every day 30 cakes demand will be there? No. Sometime demand will be more than 30 also. Sometime demand will be less than 30 also. So according to past experience, they manufacture 30 cakes. But in the past track record or past data, sometime 10 cakes only sold, sometime 20 only sold, sometime 30 sold, sometime 40 sold, sometime 50 sold. So on an average, they are expecting ki 30 should they manufacture. So they decided ki 30 cakes should be manufactured. But now in the next 10 days, what can be the position they want to check? So they can use simulation here. They can use simulation here. So to use simulation, first what they need, the data is long term or short term? Short term, 10 days data only. So they will use Monte Carlo here. And they will use probabilities. They will use probabilities. Understand? So by using probabilities, they can predict or estimate. Now how this estimation will take place, how these calculations will take place, we'll discuss in Monte Carlo model. Okay? So wait for that. But without probability, estimation is easier. Try to understand this. Without probabilities, if I want to estimate the things, estimations can be easier? No, difficult. That's why we use the probability technique. Because whenever probability is used, there is a possibility that whatever things you are estimating, that will be near to. That will be near to your actual results. That will be near to your actual results. Huge gap will not come. Huge gap will not come. That is the reason he will use probabilities. He has used probabilities. तो देखिए क्या है पहले मतलब Monte Carlo simulation is a technique of predicting the future outcomes or events or estimating the expected value objectively through a series of random number based trials. So what he used? Random number based trials. A random number means what? I will explain. So the method involves use of random numbers and probability to estimate the expected value or predict the future events. So random number means what? Random number means suppose in a bowl 10 chits are there. In that 10 chits, 10 students' names are written. So one organization is announcing a winner, lucky draw winner. So now if I want to draw one chit from that bowl, all students are having equal probability or not? 10%. 10 students, 10 chits. If I draw one chit, what is the probability that each student can win? 10%. 10% or not? So this 10% is coming from what? Random selection. This 10% is coming from what? Random selection. So random number means what? Random number means out of total, if I draw a particular number, all other numbers possibility is also equal. All others number possibility is also equal. तो इसको random बोलते फिर. Clear? Suppose in class 100 students are there. So we are using one box. Every student have to write the name in the chit and they have to insert that chit in the box. So step by step students are coming, writing the name on chit and they are inserting the chits in box. Like this box is full. Suppose without shaking the box, if I want to take one chit, then it is not called as random. Because the students who insert the chits initially, their chits will be in bottom. And the students who have inserted the chits in last, they will be on top. Clear? If I want to take one chit from the box, whose probability is high? The students who inserted in last. That's why shaking required. So box will be shaken so that all chits will be mixed. From that, if I want to take, it is called as random. It is called as what? Random. So random means what? A set of random number is said to be a random number when probability of its selection is equal to the probability of selection of any other number. Suppose if I am selecting 1, suppose in box 1 to 100 numbers, 1 to 100 number लिख दिए. We have recorded the numbers 1 to 100 and we inserted all this in one box. If I want to draw one number by mixing the box, shaking the box, then all numbers probability is equal or not? That's why it is called as random number. That's why it is called as what? Random number. So लोग simulation पढ़ लेते random number किसको बोलते वही ना मालूम रहता. Chapter भी खत्म हो जाता. People will learn simulation, chapter will be also completed, but they don't know what is random number. So you are in final level, boss. So compulsory should know each and every point. So that by end, if any person or your friend is asking, "Hey, what is random number?" should answer, na? See? Actually, every person will try to gain 100% knowledge, but because of workload, a student want to target only important areas. That is the main reason. But in final level, don't do that. Learn everything. Okay. So Monte Carlo simulation is used very widely in business decision makings. What are the steps in Monte Carlo simulation? What are the steps in Monte Carlo simulation? So first is same, identifying the problem, thereafter identifying various possible outcomes. Various possible outcomes means, suppose we are expected to check the rainfall for the next 20 days. We want to check the rainfall for the next 20 days. So first there are two possibilities. Rain will fall or rain will not fall. What is the possibility of rainfall? What is the possibility of not falling the rain or no rainfall? Suppose in rainy season you are doing this. So in rainy season also every day rain will not fall now. Is it possible that in rainy season all 90 days rainfall is there? No. According to past track record, rainfall every day is not possible. So 60% probability ki there is a rainfall. 40% probability ki there is no rainfall. In the next 10 days. First two situations we develop. What we develop? Rainfall, there is no rainfall. 60% probability ki rainfall. 40% there is no rainfall. If there is a rainfall, how much rainfall is possible? 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter. You want to predict that. Now you use random numbers. You use what? Random numbers here. Okay? You use what? Random numbers. Suppose if you are using the random number, so that the random number should be interlinked with probability. The random number should be interlinked with probability. It means probability of rainfall is 60%. Probability of no rainfall is 40%. Understand? Rainfall is 60, no rainfall is 40. Clear? If there is a rainfall, in that case only 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter possible. If there is no rainfall, in that 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3, 4 possible or not possible. So first, what is the probability of rainfall, and there is no rainfall. Thereafter, again we have to check what is the possibility of 1 centimeter rain, what is the possibility of 2 centimeter rain, 3 centimeter rain, 4 centimeter rain. Okay? So here two outcomes we are taking. How many outcomes? Two outcomes. First, rainfall, no rainfall. If there is the rainfall, how much rainfall? So two outcomes हो गए ना, तो two random number आते इधर आप. How many random numbers? Two. One for rainfall, another is for 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, like this. तो जब set आ जाता है यहाँ पे. If only you are calculating one outcome, one random number is used. You are taking the calculations in which more than one outcome is possible, then there is a combination. Then there is a combination. Okay, so that's why this is called as what? Identify various possible outcomes. Various possible outcome. If one outcome you are interested, one random number series required. If outcomes are more than one for which in which you are interested, then more than one set of random number required. Suppose you want to calculate demand also, you want to calculate profit also, you want to calculate cost also. So what is the probability of demand? What is the probability of cost? What is the probability of profit? So what is the random number of demand? What is the random number for cost? What is the random number for profit? All this we have to develop. In that case, 3 random numbers आते हैं. कितने आते हैं? 3. Demand का एक, cost का एक, profit का एक. Understand? बिकॉज ऑल यू वांट टू एस्टिमेट ना, भाई तुम डिमांड भी एस्टिमेट करना चाह रहे, यू वांट टू एस्टिमेट डिमांड ऑल्सो, यू वांट टू एस्टिमेट कॉस्ट ऑल्सो, यू वांट टू एस्टिमेट प्रॉफिट ऑल्सो, सेपरेट. You are not interested in profit calculation, you are interested in all. So you need 3 possible outcome results. So here 3 set of random numbers required. How many set of random numbers? 3 set करना पड़ता उसको. Understand? That's why this is second step. How many outcomes you want? That many random numbers set you need. 1 outcome, 1 set only. 2 outcomes, 2 set. 3 outcomes, 3 set. Understand? Then estimate the probabilities, because every outcome is a uncertain outcome. So in that, what is the probability? So according to probability, we will calculate cumulative probability, because random numbers will be linked with what? Probabilities. Suppose probability of rainfall is 60, probability of no rainfall is 40. Okay? If there is a rainfall 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, that probability is also separately given. So here 2 random number set will be given. First, what is the random number for rainfall? Suppose probability of random number for rainfall, random number is given 50. क्या random number दिया उन्होंने? 50. So probability is 60% na rainfall. So here we will develop the range. We'll develop the range. Range का मतलब क्या रहता है सुनिए. Suppose this is day. Suppose this is demand. Suppose day 1, 2, 3, 4. First day there is a possibility that demand is 20 units, second 22 units, third 18 units, fourth suppose 10 units. और इधर 10 कर देंगे, इधर 20. Okay, now probability. So probability of 10 demand is suppose 20%. In first day 10 units demand, probability suppose 20%. Second day suppose 22 units demand na, so this probability is suppose 30%. Third day 18 unit demand, this probability also 30%. And last day suppose 20%. Now we have to calculate cumulative probability. Cumulative probability. Cumulative probability means first 20, 20 plus 30. Now range will be calculated here. इसको बोलते हैं range. So this is called as range of random numbers. So always remember the random numbers which will be used in simulation technique is 2 digits random number. 2 digits, 2 digit के random number रहते हैं यहाँ पर. 2 digits random number. So first least 2 digit random number है ना यहाँ पे. And random numbers will be taken plus only, minus में रहते हैं यहाँ पे. Okay. So first random number is 0, 0. 2 digits na? 0, 0. So first probability is how much? 20 na? So we started from 0, 0. So this is 1 count हो गया ये. क्या count हो गया ये? 1. तो मुझे 20 लाना है तो ये 19 डालना पड़ेगा मुझे. Then only total will be 20. This is the reason कि range is 0, 0 to 19. तो मन में ये बात क्यों डाल रहे 19 वहां? क्योंकि 0, 0 आने से 0, 0 एंड 19 टोटल हाउ मच कितने हो गए? 20. ये रीजन से लिखते हैं यहां पर. रट्टा नहीं मारना यहां. ओके, दिस इज द रीजन. क्योंकि टोटल शुड बी 20 ना. तो 1 is 0, 0, 1 is 0 0 to 19, so total 20 numbers हो गए, इसलिए one number is reduced here. One number is reduced here. उसके बाद next 20, 49, then 52, 79, then 82, 99. That's why one number is not considered here. This is the reason कि 2 digits random number will come here. Okay? Because 0 0 is also one number. 0 0 is also one number. By 20% probability means 0 to 20 this is. 0 to 20 this is. Suppose if they are interested to calculate the demand for next 5 days, next 4 days. Okay, they are interested to calculate the demand for next 4 days or next 5 days. So this is based on what? Random numbers. This is based on what? Random number. भाई डिमांड निकालना है मेरे को, कोई रैंडम नंबर ले लो, आप कोई भी रैंडम नंबर ले लो. सपोज एनी रैंडम नंबर यू कैन टेक. भाई मैं ले लिया कोई रैंडम नंबर, बिकॉज रैंडम नंबर मीन्स व्हाट? एनी नंबर. सपोज आई एम टेकिंग द रैंडम नंबर 25. सेकेंड रैंडम नंबर सपोज आई एम टेकिंग 92. Third random number I am taking 75. Fourth random number I am taking suppose 44. This is my choice. By any random number you can take. Okay. So if random number is 25, so where this 25 is coming in this range we have to check. तो सेकेंड में आ रहा है, सो डिमांड कैन बी 22 रहता है इसका. कितना रहेगा? 22. सो हियर 25 इज कमिंग, इसमें आ रहा है 25, तो डिमांड कैन बी 22. Now 92 is falling here. So demand is how much? 20. Random number is 75. Then demand is 18. Then random number is 44. 22. So this is your simulated demand. This is what? Simulated demand. This is the reason key probabilities are very important in this model. Without probability, range will not come. And without range, we cannot use random numbers for prediction. I hope now finally fully perfectly understand. Now we can start the practical questions. We can start the practical question. तो पूरा पोस्टमार्टम हो गया है सिमुलेशन का, राइट. सी यहां पर ये मत समझिए कि दिस इज ए मैथ्स और स्टैटिस्टिक्स, so we should directly verify these steps. No, try to understand all practical steps in real environment. चलिए ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स, आई होप all these points are understand. Okay, one costing chapter also I will teach you, don't worry. Actually recorded classes now, so one costing topic also will record and upload, don't worry. वो भी करेंगे क्यों after this, because already schedule is given to students कि will start this topic. Okay, after this I will record one costing topic also. That is very new topic only I will cover here. Totally new topic in costing. So already in your material complete theory is given. ओनली क्या करना है आपको भी, ये लिख लो सिर्फ आप. ओनली यू शुड राइट दिस. दोबारा फटाफट कॉपी दिस. फर्स्ट राइट द टॉपिक नेम सिमुलेशन. See, in my subject, always overdose problem only will come. क्या प्रॉब्लम आता है? ओवरडोज का आता, कम पढ़ाई वाले कभी गुंजाइश नहीं आएंगे, बेफिक्र रही है. ओके, सो स्टेप बाय स्टेप यू शुड अटेंड द क्लासेस. व्हाई यू आर वरिंग? सो दिस नोट्स यू आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड टू कॉपी मीन्स स्किप दिस. ये लिखना है ये भी आपको, योर चॉइस भाई, बिकॉज दिस इज वेरी सिंपल. दिस इज द मोस्ट सिंपल नोट्स इन सिमुलेशन. If you are interested, copy. Otherwise, directly should start from Monte Carlo model. आपका मर्जी हो, because I will not enforce the students to copy the notes. ठीक है, लिख लो फिर. चलिए, ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स प्लीज कॉपी दिस, because theory also possible in exam now, so it is better to copy this. So first point is what? Simulation is a mathematical technique which is used to predict the expected possible outcome when several outcomes are possible. When several outcomes are possible. It means simulation एक mathematical technique है जिसके द्वारा हम लोग estimate करते हैं या predict करते हैं फ्यूचर से रिलेटेड आउटकम्स. जहां पर एक से ज़्यादा आउटकम पॉसिबल रहते हैं, उसमें से किसी एक आउटकम या एक से ज़्यादा आउटकम का हमको प्रिडिक्शन चाहिए, तो तब सिमुलेशन टेक्निक यूज़ की जाती है. क्लियर? तो सिमुलेशन टेक्निक जो है एक ऐसा टेक्निक है जहां पर एस्टिमेशन या प्रिडिक्शन होता है. सेकेंड पॉइंट इज व्हाट? सिमुलेशन इज ए टेक्निक विच इज ऑल्सो टर्म्ड एज एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन इन मैनेजमेंट लेबोरेटरी. So it is a experimentation in management laboratory. It means whatever you want to experiment, you should experiment in lab only. Should not experiment after producing the product. तो सिमुलेशन का मतलब क्या है कि ये जो भी एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन है वो पहले ही कर लेना आप, क्योंकि एक्चुअल सिनेरियो में हम लोग वो नहीं कर सकते हैं. करने की कोशिश भी करेंगे तो कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा या फिर कठिनाइयाँ आ जाएंगी आपको. इसलिए एक्चुअल में काम करने से पहले ही जो कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन करना है वो कर सकते हैं. तो वो सब कैसे करना है वो सिमुलेशन से कर सकते हैं आप. ओके, so in simulation one model is developed, prototype model is developed. So in that prototype model, all type of expected outcomes relating to the various possible events or outcomes will be drawn and analyzed. तो सिमुलेशन में जो है एक प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल डेवलप किया जाएगा. उस प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल में सभी तरह के पॉसिबल आउटकम्स क्या है उसको एनालाइज किया जाएगा. उसमें से किस आउटकम के बारे में मैनेजमेंट इंटरेस्टेड है और जानना चाहता है, वो लोग उस पर काम करेंगे. क्लियर? नेक्स्ट, simulation is a process of doing the experimentation in a model of real type environment. In a model of real type environment means one real type of environment is developed. Prototype model, in that prototype model one real type environment is developed. In that model only experimentation will done, so that actually when real environment will be started or executed, there should be no challenge to the management. Even they can handle the challenges easily. So one model compulsory to develop here. That model should be like a real world model or real environment model. Now reasons for using simulation. Simulation can be used in two different areas. One is deterministic area, one is probabilistic area. Deterministic area means what if questions. So whenever researcher is interested to know about what if situations or what if questions, then simulation can be used. Cost of using simulation is not very high. It is within the small budget also possible. It is very easy to use. So one computerized program is developed through a software. Through that, simulation can be tested or simulation can be used. One more reason for using simulation technique is sometime in real environment it is infeasible, impractical. So because of that, in model only we can trial this, in model only we can experiment this. Like what is the possibility of car accident, what is the possibility of fall of building. All this we have to check in trial run only. In real environment, it is infeasible. One more reason of simulation technique is in some cases it will be unsafe also to do the experimentation in real environment. Like radiation, nuclear plant radiation, gas leakage radiation, gas leakage problem. Okay. So in this case also, in model only we can check this. In real environment, not possible. See, I hope 8-10 years before there is a huge tsunami taken place in the Japan. Exactly, I don't know how many years back a tsunami has taken place. So because of tsunami, Japan nuclear plant was in trouble. Fukushima nuclear plant. But anyhow they manage. Clear? Otherwise what will happen? So many people will die because of this nuclear leakage. So it has to be properly maintained. We should try to check all possible outcomes in a model only. Because in real environment, if anything went wrong, people will suffer from that. Bhopal gas leak disaster. भोपाल गैस लेक डिजास्टर पड़े कभी टैक्स में भी आता कभी कभी वो एग्जम्प्टेड इनकम में आता हो विक्टिम्स ऑफ भोपाल गैस लेक डिजास्टर को कुछ पैसा वैसा मिला तो एग्जम्प्टेड रहता बल्कि ओके सो दिस इज ऑल्सो वेरी फेमस और वेरी डेंजरस इंसिडेंट टेकन प्लेस इन इंडिया सो मेनी पीपल डाइड इन भोपाल because of gas leakage, because in model they have not made the experimentation properly. In model, if experimentation is properly done, in real the possibility is less. That's why simulation is very important technique. Don't take this topic is having limited applications. चलिए कॉपी करो फटाफट. First 4 points completed. Now random number will be taken, any number means actually in real practice there is a specific means analysis will be taking place. I will explain. In questions on what basis random number will be given. So random number can be given in any way, but there is a reasoning behind that, key how to choose a random number. Examination point of view, this is important chapter. So linear programming, network analysis, and this topic is very important in QT. Possibility of question. From this topic, 3 topics. High probability. Okay, so reasons for using simulation is understand now noted. After this chapter, I will start one costing topic also. Means students have to check ना भाई costing भी कैसे पढ़ा रहे हैं, दिखा देंगे एक बार. क्योंकि भारत देश की स्थिति ऐसी है कि जो सही दिखता वही बिकता है. दैट इज द फैक्ट. पब्लिक को जो सही दिखेगा वही सही दिखेगा. चलिए, you can write the applications. Steps in simulation is very important. See, be serious in this. So 6 to 7 steps will take place here. Identifying the problem, developing the problem. Okay. Then through computerized system software or program, trial runs will take place. So from these trial runs, whatever outcomes management is interested, that will be determined, and it will be collected in the form of data collection. Then this process will repeat it until otherwise all possible outcomes are not derived. So this runs will continue to take place. Thereafter, whatever results will be drawn, that will be interpreted or presented. And finally, whatever recommendation you want to make, that will be the final step. Along with chapter only, you should remember theory also. There should be no separate time to study because all people are busy. So along with topic only, it should be very clear. This topic is also relating to estimation or prediction, and time series chapter is also relating to estimation. So Y Institute has covered this topic also, time series also. In this topic, the estimation or prediction will done for or take place for short durations, like 10 days, 20 days, 15 days. But in time series analysis, data will be yearly data, 10 years, 5 years, like this. That is the difference. So in that place, time series analysis will be used. Okay, completed now. Steps in simulation. So simulation, Monte Carlo simulation, this sentence is very important. Series of random number based trials. Series of random number based trials. This is compulsory, you have to write. So it means they will use probability also, random numbers also to estimate the expected outcomes. So Monte Carlo simulation steps is what? First identifying the problem, then identify the various possible outcomes. Means if outcome is only one set of random numbers will be given. If outcomes are 2, 3, then 3 sets or 2 set random numbers will be given. Thereafter, probabilities sometime given in the question, sometime we have to calculate. Then cumulative probability, then a range for which random numbers will be used, and finally using random numbers we have to calculate the expected value. Here random numbers will be 2 digits random number only, always remember. Now sometime probabilities are given in the question, sometime it is not given. So whenever probabilities are not given, simply you should follow one thing. In your 12th standard or foundation level, you learn business statistics. In business statistics, you learn mean topic. So in mean topic, frequencies will be given. So you will multiply frequency and one variable to calculate the mean. Here also frequency will be used for calculating the probability. So probability will be calculated for frequencies. What? Frequencies, F value. So F value is always what? Number of days, number of items, number of arrivals. For this only N will come na. So wherever N will take place, frequency, for that probability will be calculated. If probabilities are not given, don't confuse from the data. Sometime, see, examiner will play the tricks here. He'll give demand also, he'll give number of days also. And in question he'll ask you to calculate expected demand. So students think that we are calculating expected demand. So probability should be calculated from demand. Okay? If number of days not given, then it can be calculated from demand. But if number of days given, probability should be calculated from number of days. Number will be first preferred. If that is not given, then if only one single source of information given, from that only we can calculate the probability. If number mentions, wherever number is mentioned, number of students, number of runs, number of days, etc., from that probabilities are calculated. Understand? Chaliye, question number 2, I will start here. First question is not very difficult question, easy question. A car rental agency has collected following data on demand for 5-seater vehicle over past 50 days. So here your base is what? Days. 50 days. So daily demand, number of days. So in this question, probabilities are not given. Probabilities are not given. So we have to calculate the probability. So first add number of days 50 hai. Because already given na. Now 4 by 50, if you want to calculate probability, 4 by 50. बोलो पॉइंट्स में बोलना, 4 by 5 नहीं बोलना यहाँ. 8, 20, 'This is probabilities. So probabilities will be calculated from number of days. Because if you calculate mean for this is X, this is F. तो प्रोबेबिलिटी हमेशा किसका निकालेंगे अपन लोग? इफ क्वेश्चन इज 10 एंड एफ. रिमेंबर, सपोज ये नहीं दिया उन्होंने क्वेश्चन में, एक ही है तो उस पर ही करना पड़ेगा आपको. राइट नाउ इट इज गिवन ओके, दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर? ये पॉइंट क्लियर है, फिर से रिपीट करना है? ओके, नाउ द एजेंसी हैज ओनली 6 cars. Agency is having how many cars? Use following 5 random numbers to generate 5 days of demand. So already I explained कि in Monte Carlo days or the duration will be short. For rental 15, 48, 71, 56, 90. What is the average number of cars rented for these 5 days? How many rentals will be lost over the 5 days? Okay, so very simple question. देखिए सोल्यूशन करेंगे इसका अपन लोग. पहले मैं इसको रफली सॉल्व करता हूं. 1 minute. ठीक है, टुडे रफली वी विल सॉल्व फर्स्ट. So this is so first we have to prepare the statement of random number range. स्टेटमेंट ऑफ रैंडम नंबर रेंज, ये फर्स्ट स्टेप रहेगा आपका. तो फर्स्ट डिमांड गिवन, फर्स्ट डिमांड गिवन सॉरी, द नंबर ऑफ days given. फाइव फोर सिक्स सेवन एट. फोर सर, नेक्स्ट. टोटल इज 50. ओके, डेटा में थोड़ा गड़बड़ करे तो क्या है, बच्चे ज़रा ध्यान से देखते हैं ऑनलाइन वाले. पूरा अपन नीट लिखे ना, सोते रहते हो लोग, थोड़ा करना पड़ता है. जैसे आप कैसा बोले अभी, वैसे वो लोग भी अलर्ट हो जाते हैं वहाँ पे. तो समटाइम विलफुली, समटाइम अनफिलफुली मिस्टेक्स विल कम हियर, क्योंकि अदरवाइज दे विल नॉट बी इंटरेस्टेड ना. मिस्टेक आया तो जल्दी इंटरेस्ट आता लोगों का मिस्टेक निकालने में, इफेक्ट है ना. So 4/50 So cumulative 8, 28, 88. Okay, now range for random numbers. First 0, 0 to 0, 7. Zero 8 to 'So this is statement of random number range. Okay. Second is statement of simulated demand. या इसको स्टेटमेंट ऑफ सिमुलेशन लिख दे सकते हैं आप, बिकॉज इन क्वेश्चन दे आर आस्किंग व्हाट सिमुलेटेड डिमांड. सिमुलेशन लिख दीजिए, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ सिमुलेशन. फॉर हाउ मेनी डेज दे आर आस्किंग हियर? 5 days. रैंडम नंबर्स क्या दिया है उसने? 15. ओके. डिमांड. Now right now agency has only 6 cars currently. The number of cars is available. Number of cars available. Okay, so first days, random number, demand, number of cars available, cars rented. Cars rented. Then rental lost. See, this table will not same in every problem, this will change. Here only concentration required. फर्स्ट कोई भी बना लेते, यहाँ रहता गेम दिमाग लड़ाने का. Okay, so second table is always important. How many columns we have to develop? That is, we have to understand from question only. चलिए, so first 15. So this 15 is coming here in which range? Second. So what is the demand? 5, sorry. So we have to write 5 here. Okay. Next 48. 48 is falling here in, so 6. Next 71. 56, 90, 8. Okay, so 15 is falling in a range of 0, 08 to 27, so demand 5. 48 is falling in 28 to 59, so demand 6. 71, 60 to 87, so 7. 90 is falling 88 to 99, 8. 56 falling between 28 to 59, so 6. Now number of cars available with organization is 6. Okay, now how many cars they can rent? So demand is 5, available 6, so 5 cars only they can rent. Demand 5, available 6, 6 can be rented. Demand 7, cars available 6, so 6 only they can rent. 6. Now demand is 5, number of cars available 6, cars rented 5, rentals lost, no. 6, 6, no. 7, 6, 1 lost. 6, 6, no. 8, 6, 2 lost. चलिए, so cars rented total is how much? 20, and rentals lost 3. Okay, so what is the average number of cars rented per day for 5 days? So use following 5 random numbers to generate 5 days demand for rental agency. So 5 days demand we already calculated here. Okay, thereafter second answer is what is the average number of cars rented per day? Okay, what is the average number of cars rented per day? So 29 divided by 5. So first answer is already covered. This is the demand. So second answer we are writing. What answer? Second. Average number of cars rented 5.8. Okay, next is what? How many rentals will be lost over 5 days? Already हो गया है 3 वो. थ्री. चलिए कॉपी कर दो ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन. Here only one outcome we are interested, so only one digit, one set of random numbers are given. समझ में आ रहा है? अब क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 व्हेन यू सॉल्व, इसमें डिपॉजिट भी है, सॉरी रिसीट्स एंड पेमेंट्स है, तो 2 आउटकम्स आर गिवन, तो दो रहेंगे रैंडम नंबर सब, 1 फॉर रिसीट 1 फॉर पेमेंट. See, in second step, you should write statement of simulation only, because in every sum this will change. In some questions, demand will come. In some question, waiting time will come. So different question, so directly should write statement of simulation. Finish. Everything will cover in that. Suppose in this question, average demand is tested means 5, 6, 7, 6, 8 plus divided by 5. But average demand is not tested. Average number of cars rented tested. Completed. Okay. So, see, previous question which we solved, in that we are interested to calculate the outcomes for one area only, that is number of cars rented or rentals lost, etc. Suppose in next class when we start question number 3, so here they have given the probabilities for two items, two outcomes. One is for receipt, one is for disbursement. So they will give two random number set. So this 1778 is not one number. This is 2, 1778. This is comma. The examiner will not give the comma here. So we have to break up this into 2. Okay. So we'll solve this question in next class. Generally, I am explaining. This is two numbers, two sets of random numbers. One is for receipts, another is for payments. Okay. Understand? Sometimes question will be giving 3 types of probabilities. तो 3 रहेंगे वहां पर आप देखिए. Question number 4. One is given for selling price, one is given for variable cost, one is given for volume. तो three numbers रहेंगे अब देखिए. So depends on what? How many outcomes they are given, right? चलिए next class we'll solve this all questions. Today we are stopping here only today.